Hi, welcome back. Today we have James Fowler. James Fowler is a visual artist and curator with a Bachelor of Arts degree in film and English and an early background in photography. In 2011, James founded the 10 by 10 photography project. Welcome. Thank you for coming here.
Thanks, Sylvia.
You're just here for the liquor, right?
I'm here just to have liquor.
Tell the lovely people about the 10 by 10 project.
I started it in 2011, and it was because during Pride, there's lots of stages and lots of places to go dancing, but I didn't find that visual art programming was really represented, particularly in Toronto. So I got together with a few friends who were photographers. And we started, I think, with 2 photographers, and I thought, I know a lot of gay photographers or lesbian photographers. So we did this at a little place called the White House Studio Space in Kensington Market. Mm-hmm. And just through an invite on Facebook, we ended up having with like 700 people show up. There were more people on the street than were inside. And so I kind of thought, you know what, I think we've touched on something here. Like there's obviously it's something that people want to do during Pride. So the Gladstone connected with me and said we'd like to adopt the project. And so since then, the year after, this is now the 6th year that we're doing it. So it takes over the entire Gladstone during Pride Week and actually extends into the summer.
Yeah, you're doing a display
right
at the Gladdy, I like to call it, at the Gladstone.
Yeah.
This Pride.
Yeah, so it opens on June 30th. Well, that's the artist reception, so that's like a big party and stuff that happens. But it runs all through June, all through July, and I think it closes August 18th.
That's great.
Thank you.
10 years are going to be doing this.
10 years. That, it's interesting. We did it 1 year, and we had this great response. And certainly there's obviously an appetite for, looking at photography or some sort of visual arts event during Pride. So I did it a second year. Great response, and then I started getting asked about it, like, are you doing it again? Are you doing it again? And because it's 10 by 10, so it's 10 photographers, each of them are asked to take 10 different portraits of LGBTQ Canadians in the arts. So that's the 10 by 10 part, and I thought, well, why not do it for 10 years? So, at the end of the project, I'll have produced 10 books, 10 exhibitions. I'll have worked with 100 LGBTQ photographers, Canadian queer photographers, and collectively we'll have documented 1,000 LGBTQ Canadians who have contributed to the arts. Mm-hmm. So something you're proud of. It's a bit of a legacy project. So
I wanted to ask, who are some of the photographers that are participating this year in the event?
Oh, it's a great question, and one I often screw up because we've been doing it for 6 years. We're at 60 people this year. But this year, we're focusing on a really good, sort of a diverse group. We have John Webster, we have Vivek Shura, and is actually partnered with Karen Castillo, and they're known as Heartbeats. And one of the things that they've done is they've looked at different sized bodies and different colored bodies that often don't get portrayed in mainstream media as models or that you don't see in the magazines. Who else do we have? We have Maxwell Lander, who has done an amazing series of portraits using sort of a film noir, and another artist, Richard Rhymes, who has also sort of taken cue from 1950s, 1960s sort of mystery films. They sort of there's one that looks exactly like it's cut out of a Blake Edwards film. Anyway, so there's 10 people this year.
Is there themes? Do we have themes? Do you have a theme for this?
I've done themes in the past. I think in the second year we were talking about the sort of the history of photography. But there isn't a theme, an overarching theme. But what there is each photographer brings with them their own sort of look and feel. So you have someone like Kelly McRae, who did these amazing portraits, and he took people and he put them into an actual bathhouse. And instead of doing this sort of artifice where you have a fake steam and a fog machine, he actually put them in a bathhouse, created the steam, and had the steam sort of fog up the lens, and then he took these portraits. Mm-hmm. So there's a real look and feel to that, which is very different than, say, the Heartbeats pieces or Richard Rhymes pieces. Each one is going to have a sort of a different look and feel. Now, when you ask about a theme, what I can say is that every year there's an introduction to the book, And I've always asked someone who is a respected person in both the arts and culture and in the queer communities to say something about it. In the past, we've had Francisco Alvarez. This year, we have John Rubino, who's written an amazing essay about the negotiation that happens between a photographer and their subject, and how a photographer sort of creates this world and puts the subject into that world, and so that idea of artifice. When by being photographed, we aren't really in our natural state. And so I think that's something, it's a nice lens through which to look at the entire exhibition this year.
Yeah. So at the end of this 10-year project, there'll be 1,000 artists highlighted.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
That is a lot, and I'm really happy about it. I'm hoping to tour it. You look at things like the Civil Rights Museum, and that's new in Winnipeg, or relatively new in Winnipeg, but often it's marginalized groups and the downtrodden part of it. And so one of the things that I like about the exhibition is that it really highlights sort of the new shooting stars in the community, and then the people who they're really established in the community, and they've kind of created this world through which, or this path through which others can follow. So it's a celebratory exhibition. I'm hoping to send it to probably Berlin and England as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I would really love to see the exhibition when it's complete.
That would be really, I think particularly in Berlin would be
right.
Would really fit in, like
right.
would really resonate there.
Right. Yeah, I think it would. It's a great space for it. Something like the Portrait Museum in London, it would be a good fit for. And then I'm sure there's museums or galleries that we can tour across Canada, because I think it's something important to see. I say it's a 10-year project, but if somebody wanted to come in at the end of the 10 years, I'm going to be turning 50 that year too, so it's sort of a nice legacy piece for me. I'm like, okay, I've done it, and if somebody wants to take it over and continue the project, I'm more than happy to hand over the reins at that point. So if anybody ever wants to get involved, you can find information about it as well.
Well, you have a website.
Yes, we do. So it's www.10x10photographyproject.com. I know it's a bit long. And then there's email there. One of the great things that I love about the website too is that if you know somebody who is Canadian, queer, and has contributed to the arts, you can nominate somebody, which is nice. And when I say has contributed to the arts, I think there's a distinction, because I think people think, oh, well, I'm not an actor or a dancer or a singer. We highlight people who are not just people who contribute through their creativity or their gifts or whatever, but also people who work behind the scenes. So it could be TV producers or somebody who works in finance, or and we ask that question, does being queer have any bearing in their decision making in their workplace, which is, I think, an important question to ask. So
thank you, Mr. James Fowler.
Oh, thank you, Sylvia.
We're going to continue to drink, but we'll see you very shortly. Cheers.
Cheers.